I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him.
No, they did not do this. Come on.
Just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet.
Oh my God. No, there's no way we're doing this. How do they not understand that this comes across as so condescending and smug? What is this? The H3 subreddit has been absolutely cooking with memes since the Content Cop drop. One of my favorites. Chat, I found a version of Content Cop with no music.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up. Even the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Oh. That's mean. That's mean, but it's funny. Did you see Hasan remember that he went to a Diddy party? I saw the post, but I didn't actually click on the post.
Are you denying going to a Diddy party? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What are you talking about? Think.
Wait, did he actually go to a Diddy party?
I walked into this like back like sphere Epcot looking thing in the back of like the house that P. Diddy was renting for his and was throwing after parties at Coachella, and they were playing like these crazy things for people who are high. Not me, of course. I had only eaten portobello mushrooms, and one of the images that they were playing was like this little girl, this like supposedly attractive very young girl
what?
Opening up a Christmas gift.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh my God. I did.
What? Hold up. Shut the door. Come on. That's not something that you forget, bro. Come on. That's not the... You don't just be like, oh yeah, I went to a Diddy party. You know, like that's something that you're going to remember even in your demented years of like 95, you know. That's not something that you're like, oh yeah, that one time at Coachella. I mean, I guess yeah, if he was on shrooms, but still, I mean, like, look, I took shrooms one time in college. I still remember that experience very vividly. Denim's reacted to the Content Cop. I'm so curious. Did she watch the beginning or wait? Oh God, we're doing three layers.
Spitting
On the
We're doing 3 layers of reacting here. Me reacting to Denim's, reacting to Hasan, to Ethan, reacting to... No, it's 4 layers. We're 4 layers deep in Inception.
on the third
kind of spitting right now.
Or not.
I know.
Okay.
We're not going to watch this whole thing, but I want to see how she responds to the opening bit where she's a part of it, and then we'll skip a little bit ahead.
Surprisingly dangerous. Consider the
Thing in our defense, like actually Hila's not a baby killer. Actually accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane...
Oh, he's so disgusted. He's so disgusted, you guys. He just discovered empathy, man. He's
not disgusted, he's confused.
It's crazy that idubbbz used that particular moment with Ethan on the pod, because that's such a legitimate grievance. Like Ethan pushing back against like crazy accusations that he negligently killed his own dog, and then also all of this being in the context of CPS being called on his house, and idubbbz used like that as an intro to the video. It's just so saying it's in poor taste, I don't think quite does it justice. It's just, that is such a legitimate grievance to have when you get CPS called to your home and he's like making a joke of it while collaborating with the streamer whose community was the one that was talking about it before it actually happened is insane.
hitting him hard here today.
Harassment group that anybody who says anything, they will
Shonda Black didn't know there was an option to decline saying something nice about Ethan at the end of the Content Cop, points towards Hasan not having to do it.
We're watching Hasan watch it,
And like, well, I want you to Hassan watch it. And Hassan doesn't have a nice thing about Ethan. And the chat asked what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait, you didn't do a nice thing about Ethan? And he was like, no. And I'm like, wait, that was an option? I could have just said no. Mr. Charitability over here. Mr. Charitability over here said no to saying a nice thing about Ethan, but I did.
Wait, I didn't even see that part. They did a cringe say something nice about Ethan moment at the end of that video?
Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think, at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human, because he is human. And he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared.
Bro, this just to me just rings so insincere. You just spent the last hour, you know, patronizing him, first condescending him, basically saying like the problem is that Ethan is ignorant and just needs to be educated. And he was resisting the education from the much more intelligent and politically savvy Hasan and Hasan community. Like, you do this patronizing tone the whole time. You collaborate with people who have said like horrible things about Ethan and his wife that are just patently false, by the way. Someone like Noah outright saying that Ethan supports a genocide when Ethan called it a genocide. It's just so egregious. And you're collaborating with these people, and at the end you're like, oh yeah, he just needs a hug and he's just really like struggling right now. It's like, well, why do you think he'd be struggling right now? Like, why do you think it would be psychologically difficult for Ethan right now? It's because it's not just you guys. It's like, if these were just 5 people in Ethan's life, it would be like, okay, fine, you just cut them off and then you don't talk to them anymore, whatever. But this is all happening in the arena of social media. And so now there's like thousands or maybe millions of other spectators that are taking your tone and then dialing that up like 100, you know, so they hear Hasan talk about Ethan in a certain way, and then you know, by the time it reaches like this game of telephone, by the time it reaches like Hasan's Discord or the snark subreddits, it's turned into like Ela killed Palestinian kids and she wants to like suck their blood out or whatever. And then you go and you collaborate with these people for a video like this. It's just so gross to finish it off with like, but you know what, guys, he's a human being. It's like, give me a break. At that point, just full send, right? Just like, don't do this. Like, what is this? Like, who's buying this? Give me a break. Who watched this video that is supportive of Hasan and Denims and them? Who watched the video and at the end had a genuine moment of empathy? Like, give me a break.
Paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying,
yeah, Hasan's not sensitive and defensive, really? It's like half of his content. Half of Hasan's content is him arguing with people in chat, which is something I relate to, but I feel like he does it way more than me. I feel like Hasan gets one guide and stun locked way more than me.
that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him.
No, they did not do this. Come on. This is... Come on. Like, who... I can't believe I missed this. I didn't see any of this yet.
Because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet.
Oh my God. No! No, we're not doing this. There's no way we're doing this. How do they not understand that this comes across as so condescending and smug? Have they deluded themselves into thinking that people look at this at like emotional maturity? Because I think that's what they're going for, right? Like, let's be emotionally mature. Let's end it with a positive affirmation. Like, what the f is this guy?
I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that.
Oh my God. Oh, how did we miss this, you guys? His compliment is like, you suck now, bro. And it's the same with Frogan. That's not a compliment. That's not a positive affirmation. They're saying you suck now. That's what they're saying. You turned into a shitty person, and they're hiding it under this like thin, transparent veneer of politeness and respect. It's so gross.
Frivolous lawsuit. That was pretty up, and fighting it, he changed YouTube for the better. And I thought that was cool because I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
I also see.
Come on, bro. The subtext there is pretty obvious. Like, and now look what you're doing. It's a frivolous lawsuit. I mean, we'll see if it's frivolous. We'll see. I have like a lefty person on Twitter that's like in my DMs saying like it's frivolous. It's going to get tossed out of court. I don't know. When you put someone's face on a thumbnail and the title of a video that says the creators that supported a genocide, and then double down with another video, I don't know if that's frivolous. We'll see.
See the dynamic of Ethan and Neil. I'm like, fuck, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have been kind of slipping in.
Wait, hang on a second. Now he is framing him and his wife like not speaking up in defense of Ethan and Hila. He's framing that as like, oh, well, if we would have defended them, maybe it would have been like a Streisand effect and it would have made it worse for them. But earlier in the video, he said the reason why they didn't defend him was essentially because they agreed with a lot of the criticism. Like, you're trying to have it both ways here. You're trying to frame this like you already said it was in the beginning of the video, like 50 minutes prior in this video, you said like, yeah, we think a lot of them had like good points. That was one of the reasons why they didn't speak up. And now it's just like, oh, I thought it would make it worse. Like, really? And this is slimy too, going back to a previous time where he's talking like openly about mental health struggles and then framing that as though it's just him. He's being unreasonable. The reason why he's reacting the way that he is because he doesn't understand the arguments against like Israel existing, I guess. He doesn't understand that, and he's refusing to be educated, and he's doing all of this to himself. If only he took the view that Israel should no longer exist and that October 7th was imperfect resistance. If he only, learned that that was the truth, then he wouldn't be so tortured and we wouldn't be like piling on and, calling him a genocidal Zionist. Great. This is insane. I want to puke watching this.
Unhealthy place where it's gotten.
That doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more.
Bro, this is so slimy. This is so, you know what this is the equivalent of? Like, how many of you guys have partners and like you're both in therapy or whatever? Is this sharing too much? I don't think so. I won't get into any specifics or whatever. Like, or it doesn't even need to be a partner. It could be somebody that in your life or whatever. Like, let's say you had a friend and your friend went to therapy and your friend talked about like what they talked about with the therapist that day, and your friend talked about like, oh yeah, I've been struggling with this and whatever, and then 3 weeks later you get in a disagreement with your friend, and then you bring up that thing and you like weaponize their openness about their mental health struggles in a particular context where it just doesn't apply. Like, I don't know what Ethan was talking about here, but I really doubt it's about like the Israel stuff. This looks like it was from like 3 years ago. I could be wrong.
That makes it worse for them. And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more pulled up. A feeling of almost infallibility that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Ethan did nothing wrong, you know, like literally say that Ethan did nothing wrong. I'm sure he said some things that I disagree with or handled some things in a way that maybe I wouldn't if I was at my like full faculties, you know? But in the case of the tension between him and all these other leftist idiot communities, like I feel like he is just so clearly in the right. He's just so clearly in the right. I mean, like I posted about it last night. Like Ethan, for example, he posted this in mid 2021. He posted this before October 7th. Okay. The statement that he gave at the time was, the Israeli government is making me sick. Even if Hamas is operating out of a civilian building, it doesn't justify the total destruction of that building. It's inhumane. Netanyahu is a piece of shit warmonger and needs to go. As a dual citizen, I love Israel and the Israeli people. They deserve a government that actually believes in peace, not force and violence. The ultra-right Jewish settlers are among the greatest provocateurs in the world. They are shameless and hateful, fueled by religious zeal and enabled by the Israeli government. I wish the settling and repossession of Palestinian land would stop. I wish the bombing in Gaza would stop. Gazans deserve to live a life free of fear. For all of the crimes Hamas has committed, we must always remember that they are not Palestine. The Israeli government holds all the power, and it is on them to stop the violence and show a true willingness for peace. He wrote this 2 years before October 7th. And because of the things that I underlined and read here, these two things right here make the eventual rejection of Ethan by the far left audience that he cultivated with the Leftovers podcast with Hasan inevitable. It was always going to happen because of him saying, I love Israel and the Israeli people. That's strike one. Actually, to be honest with you, strike one is, even if Hamas is operating out of a civilian building, that's strike one. So if you talk to the more like far left Palestinian supporters, they will tell you that Hamas just doesn't do it. It's Hezbollah, it's Israeli propaganda, it's just fascist propaganda to justify colonialism and genocide. It's like, that's what they think about that. Strike two was him saying he's a dual citizen and he loves Israel, but they just omit everything else he says here. Netanyahu's a piece of shit. You know, the Israeli government holds all the power. It's on them to stop the violence, you know. And then strike three was, for all the crimes Hamas has committed, we must always remember that they are not Palestine. That's strike three for these people, because for these people, and I know because they were in my mentions last night, multiple people in my mentions last night saying Hamas is a legitimate resistance group and they're not perfect, but they're the only resistance that Palestinians have. So therefore we should generally support them, which is insane. That is a crazy thing to say about a far-right, fundamentalist, violent, ultra-right, theocratic regime that wants to kill or expel every Jewish person that lives in the region. That is a crazy thing to say, that, well, they're the only resistance there, therefore we have to have like nuance when we talk about Hamas. It's insane. It's just 99.9% of people agree that that's insane. Crazy. But because like even though Ethan said all this other shit about like unequivocally condemning Netanyahu and Hamas and IDF and the Israeli government, because he said he loves Israel, because he said that Hamas sets up in civilian buildings, and he said that Hamas committed crimes and that they don't represent all Palestinians. They were always going to reject him. And in hindsight, it seems kind of obvious, like it was always going to head to this point. There's actually a really prescient tweet from Jordan Peterson that he wrote to Ethan, I don't know, a few years ago. And he basically said, like, look, listen, I'm no Jordan Peterson stan, but when he's right, he's right. Am I right? Like, Jordan Peterson tweeted to Ethan, you know, with the audience that you're cultivating, eventually you will do something that is a bridge too far for them and they will fucking crucify you. And holy shit, he was absolutely right. Irishman Steve says, just say that you would prefer if all Palestinians just didn't fight back and died. Me? Are you talking about me right now? You people are unbelievable. You're unbelievable. You prove my point every time you open your mouths. You prove my point. The thing that I've been saying over and over again for the last year is that you guys are the worst possible advocates for a cause in history. You say this crazy shit. You make these declarative statements and then you set out the criteria for like who qualifies as being a genocidal piece of shit in your mind. And 99.9% of people fit that criteria because you guys are so unreasonable and uncharitable.
Website. Jesus Christ, why can't any of you people be
I think you're addicted to being like
this?
Angry
all the time here on Twitch.
I think you guys are addicted to the fight. You're addicted to being angry at people. You like the fight. You enjoy it. It gives you dopamine. It gives you maybe I'm projecting a little bit here, but like I think you guys exemplify this to an extreme degree. It's more about like telling someone that they're a piece of shit. You like the way it makes you feel to call someone a genocidal war pig. You like that feeling. And so, and it's not about the advocacy. It's not about the Palestinians. It's not about any of that. It's just about the fight. It's about the aesthetic of it all.